quote is from page 190. I'm afraid you're right, Ellen. Yes, I do believe in the Bible. That's why I cannot accept the laws of this country. We white people are hypocrites. We call ourselves Christians, yet our deeds make the devil look like a saint. I sometimes wish I hadn't left England. I chose this quote because I wanted to see what you guys had to say about why you think Johannes was so surprised and caught off guard when Mrs. Smith said this to his grandmother.
So, I think that it kind of shows that, like, while so much was happening, like, the white population as a whole was really cruel and, like, really racist, and they oppressed the black population, but it also shows that, like, they also have values, like any normal person, and some people were able to see that, like, we're doing something completely, like, terrible, and not every single person, even though the population as a whole is doing something, not every single person agreed with, like, the regime, and a lot of people basically saw, like, the humanity aspect and, like, the morality aspect, and just saw that it was, like, a terrible thing to be doing. And yeah, it was, like, they consider themselves religious too, and like, yeah.
But kind of in terms of Johannes's point of view, like what caused him to have such strong beliefs?
Oh. Everything that he has experienced about white people has been awful. Like, he has been, like, terrorized by white people his entire life, and every time his father talks about white people, it's always how much he hates them, and everyone in the camps pretty much just hates white people, so he's pretty much been told over and over again, there are no good white people, they are, the only thing they do is, try to oppress these people, and it's not good ever. And so when he comes across this white person, which admittedly is from England, and so has been grow up in a different society, which was entirely different at the time, he still was really, like, amazed to see that there were good white people.
Yeah. And what do you think of that state of mind of, like, I see it kind of connecting to the Steve Biko thing, black consciousness, so, like, once they kind of overcome the idea that they have that blacks are indeed inferior to whites, then they can, like, obtain freedom. Like, what do you think is up with that mindset? Like,
once they've overcome it? Is that what you're saying?
No, just having this idea that, like, someone superior to us would never like disagree with these apartheid laws. Like,
wait,
what?
Sorry.
Just kind of, like, reflect on having that mindset and, like, not like being part of the black consciousness movement, like not even like knowing about it, just kind of being on the side of, like, oh yeah, we are inferior, so why would they, like, ever say something speaking out against our lack of rights?
You mean like accepting the beliefs that the whites have kind of forced on them in a way?
Yeah.
Yeah.
So, like, what's detrimental about that, or like, what do you think about it in general?
I mean, that kind of mindset, like, there's so many examples in our own lives where, like, people, like, have been telling you, like, when you're younger, like, don't ever, like, accept, like, failure, like, try and try again, that's, like, such, like, a basic concept that, like, you've heard a million times, whether it's, like, sports or, in your own lives, but, like, when it actually counts, when it actually matters, like, in, like, these horrible conditions in South Africa, like, that's, like, the biggest time not to, like, just accept it. It's, like, when you get to that belief and you get to that point, like, in your mind where you're just, like, I'm not going to do anything about it, like, that's like the lowest you can possibly go, in my opinion. Like, you can't ever, like, sink to that because, I mean, there's nothing you can do from that point if you ever get there. Like, you gotta, like, if you ever are thinking, like, that you're inferior or something based on other people's beliefs or something, you gotta, like, find a way to get out of that, because...
Right.
Toxic.
I also thought, like, relating back to Clyde, how, Clyde was brought up in his school to think that blacks were extremely lower in social standings and economic and everything else, and also Johannes was too, and that's I think how like what made him so surprised is because he was just so surprised at what he was taught in school and that what he thought was like not being seen in Miss Smith, and it was so surprising because what he believed was not what he saw, because he probably thought every black like was being so suppressed by every single white person, and every white person was what he heard, like what he heard from his peers, that they were so oppressive. And then he saw Miss Smith and she was tolerant and almost respectful to him, and that was just extremely surprising to him.